Hi, students. So I wanted to hop on here and answer the most popular question of what supplies do you need that you can grab and put to the side for your online art class if you're starting off with drawing? So the truth is that most artists will tell you that they buy small packs of things and it just becomes a large art collection. So if you've ever seen YouTube or an art studio and you're like, that's a lot of art supplies, it didn't just get there overnight. It kind of accumulates after you buy smaller packs of things. And some things you use up really quickly and some things you don't use up as much. Drawing is one of those ones though that you want to worry about organization, portability, as well as longevity when you're buying art supplies that have to do with drawing. A single sketchbook is plenty for a drawing class, and it can just be sketchbook paper. And so if you see ones that literally just say sketchbook, they're probably for sketching, they're for drawing practice. So they're thinking grayscale, color pencils, dry materials, and will be perfect for using color pencils, your regular graphite, and just doing your studies with. And also, they're great for writing in and getting some extra drawings. They usually have 50, 75, or 200-page sketchbooks. And so it's more pages than you need for your class, but it also encourages the students to fill up the extra pages. Nothing wrong with some extra space to work. That being said, another thing that I have is pencils. And usually with my students, I tell them you only need six pencils. They each have either a black or an H on them for hardness levels. And so a lot of times I'm using three of my favorite ones, which is usually an H, a 2B, and a 4B. And I use those all the most. Everything else I have is usually an ink layer or I'm incorporating some other medium with it. But I'm for basic sketching, I just want to care about the levels of the blackness usually. And that way I get a nice deep line, but I can also go softer and get lighter lines too. It's the same tool. You can use color pencils to draw in and fill in a lot of your drawings. And so it's a great dry medium to match up with your drawing course, as well as acrylic markers since they're not known to bleed through most types of paper. Just watch out for some brands if they seem a little bit liquidy. I also would say the erasers is the most important part. And so I will notice that some art pencils, if you see, have no erasers on the back. And so it's important to make sure you grab some erasers too. So if you don't know what erasers most artists have, they either have a soft one that's like a gum eraser, literally feels and looks like chewing gum, and it picks up graphite, and a hard eraser for really going at those, like if you're getting a whole line erased, then I usually have one good chunky eraser and one chewing gum eraser. But these aren't the only other supplies I would also recommend. A ruler, and a rulers, of course, come in different sizes. I have pocket rulers, I have longer rulers, and I would just have one nearby, as well as something you can trace for a circle. It's like the most common thing I tell kids, if you see a good candle lid or a lid off of a jar in your refrigerator, grab something you can trace a circle with and get different sizes so that way you can make small circles and big circles. And last but not least, a good sharpener. I like hand sharpeners. I don't like electronic ones. They go dull so fast, but I just have a standard steel sharpener pencil with two sizes, a big and a small, in order to use on all of my pencils to keep them nice and sharp so that way I can keep drawing. If you have any further questions about any of the supplies that you may already have or something you found on a website and you're just wondering if it's any good quality, then you can send us a message, an email, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And I look forward to seeing you in the classroom. Bye.